Hello and welcome to Lord Havoc's Marvel Champions custom content extravaganza. I have another creator spotlight for you today for this episode. I'm very excited about this one. This person has been incredibly helpful and kind and friendly to myself. And is also just quite frankly a pillar of the community. Everybody I've spoken to has mentioned this person's name. With nothing but reverence, and I'm very excited. I'm going to try not to fanboy too much. We'll see how it goes. I am speaking to this. We actually have two names. I'm speaking to SuperTNT73, but your friends call you Rokaran. How you doing?
How you doing? A pleasure to be here, and nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Officially
you.
over the board.
I know this is very exciting. So, which one are we going with? Are we going with Super TNT or are we going with Rokaran?
Yeah, Super TNT. What
Super.
happened was, Super TNT is the stuff that I've always used for, email and video games and stuff like that.
Cool.
And when I had first started playing the game with my kids who were preteens at the time, I'm like, this is something when we started creating cards, we'll all do together. So I combined all our names into Raikoran, and they kind of lost interest in helping me design cards. So
Right.
they were like, Dad, you should have just went with Super TNT. So that's why there are two names there
I love
in
it
that
though. I
point.
love
But
the origin of Rokaran. I think is very sweet. It's very very cute. Also, all right. Well then, Super TNT. Could you? I like it's like a wrestling name. Could you
it is.
please do like an introduction of yourself? Let people know who you are.
Sure. I can go by Super TNT. My first name's Randy. I'm from the East Coast. I have been playing board games all my life. And the Marvel Champions was the first um, living card game that I've tried. I grew up watching superhero cartoons and stuff. So it seemed like a no brainer, a board game with superheroes. So I was
Mm.
excited to play it. And the older you get, though, the rules seem kind of complicated. So it sat for, a couple months until my kids and I busted out, during COVID, and we learned how to play.
Mm.
And we all loved the game. So I was looking for more info on it. And either through Board Game Geek or maybe Hall of Heroes, I found the Discord. And this was the first Discord I joined ever
Cool.
in about late 2021. So that's kind of when I started the Discord. And I started designing cards probably in early 2022.
Nice. So quick. So quick. I love it. So you joined the Discord. Was this the first ever Discord you've ever joined?
First
Yeah.
Discord, I didn't even have a Google Drive. I had none of that.
Okay, cool. So you joined Discord purely just for the community, which is awesome. And then, so you lurked for a little bit and sort of got to know like the areas, and then started creating, or you already had ideas percolating.
No, I didn't. What happened is, and what was helpful was that master list that everyone talks about,
Yeah.
and it was great. It was like, and it's just kind of sad that when new people come in, they're like, "Oh, where can I find all the content?" And people say, "Oh, go to the master list," but then other people say, "Well, it's not updated."
Yeah.
But I find like that whole spreadsheet was amazing, and like I had mentioned in previous, it was tons of heroes, tons of scenarios. So I didn't have TTS at the time, so it was like a kid in a candy store. I would just go there and I was like, all
Awesome.
right, which one do I want to print out?
Yeah.
And I printed out some custom heroes. But what got me into creating was there were a couple Scorpions. I'm like, oh, I want to play against Scorpion. So, and this is what you really shouldn't do is I picked some cards from one creator, some cards from another. And I did that with Luke Cage and Wolverine as well,
Mm.
not realizing that creators kind of have a synergy between their cards.
Right.
So it didn't really work out because the set didn't really blend well. So then I realized like, oh, there's a method to how these people are creating their cards.
Cool.
So
I mean, you said when you first started saying that, you said this is what you shouldn't do, but look how well it served you, though, right? I mean,
well,
like you
what
realized
what
the
would happen
synergy
was,
aspect.
yeah, I learned like don't try and combine two creators' cards to into one hero set. It does not work. But then it kind of got me thinking, oh well, I want to start creating cards. I kind of started with like some allies and just kind of dip my toe in the water,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Okay, cool. And have you done any custom work? You said you've been playing board games all your life. Have you done any custom work for anything else before MC?
Well, yeah, I was thinking about that, and I guess the original custom kind of board game was, Dungeons and Dragons. And as a teenager, Dungeon Master, and that's kind of creating a whole world and creating your own custom game. So I would do that.
That's
But in terms of
the
like
ultimate
actual board,
version of customs, isn't it? Like that is role playing, Dungeons and Dragons.
yes,
Cool.
yeah. So I would do that. And when I was a kid, I created like a baseball game, with dice, But that until this game, I never really created stuff for established games before, and I haven't. This is the only game that I've created custom content for.
So, but you created your own game, so a baseball game,
Yeah,
like cards
I
and
mean, it was
dice
just
and
kind
stuff.
of dice rolling, and
Yeah,
yeah, it was fun as a kid.
that's cool. I love that stuff.
Mm.
I create my own custom games myself, and I have respect for anybody who does it. And yeah, you say you pass it off as it's it was fun when you were a kid and stuff. It's that's I love that sort of stuff. It's creativity. It's amazing stuff. It's awesome, and that's what brings us to where we are today, right? So, um, very cool. All right, let's have a look. I've got your board in the background. So for all the spotlights, I have your TTS mod up. So I'm glad you got one made and stuff. Um, it's got your creations on here. Is one of the things that sort of drew me to you as a creator is um, all the creations are different. Just you've got like a varied amount of heroes, but they are all unique, which I think is a sign of true creativity. And they're fun creations, and just by pure chance, I happen to have played like quite a lot of them. So something about your creations draws me into because just I don't like I try. It's not like I try to spread things out a bunch of creators and stuff. I just play whatever I feel like playing, and I just quite often I come to you, which I think is pretty interesting. We've got some cool stuff on here, so we're gonna go. So have a bit of a tour of your TTS mod here. Um, I do see that you've got heroes and scenarios. What do you prefer creating? Hero packs or scenarios?
Um, I think heroes are the easiest, but I want to start doing what you and Kaj have done and create more villain scenarios. But with that, it's harder because there's a lot more number crunching,
Yeah,
and a lot of my scenarios don't have multiple stages because like it is number crunching. When does it go to the next stage?
yeah,
How quickly is threat going to accumulate? It's just I think a more balancing act to make a scenario work. And the Riddler is the newest one, and usually on Discord played it, but he played it in solo. And that one I haven't really played much, and that might have to be adjusted because with that one, the second level, three other scenarios, it was almost going to be like Venom Goblin, but all of the main schemes start accumulating threat, but it might be unbalanced. So like that, it's a hard thing to balance, I think, villain scenarios versus hero stuff.
yeah. I agree. Cool.
So that's where I think I need more play testing and just more. I haven't done as many basically.
Yeah, but yeah, but scenarios sort of scratch that creator ish for you more than hero sets, but for that sort of difficulty, the sort of the number crunching, or you just prefer the heroes?
No, I don't really have a preference. It's
Okay,
just the
cool.
heroes have just been easy because I'm just kind of trying to fill in what what hasn't been created yet.
Yeah,
Heroes that kind of jumped out at me like, oh, this person might be cool, and we can get to other creators later. But there's just been a lot of really cool villain scenarios where I haven't really seen villains that I've been wanting to create as of yet.
right. Okay, cool.
If that makes sense.
Awesome. All right. So Marvel, we've got people like Deadpool. Did you do your Deadpool before the official Deadpool came out?
I did,
Yeah.
and well, what happened is back in like the '90s, him and Wolverine were in everyone's kind of comics. So
Yeah.
my Deadpool take was the heroes that existed at that time, trying to kind of pick the best hero cards and just put like a Deadpool twist on it.
Gotcha.
And it was nice when someone said like that they preferred my Deadpool over the official one, which is really nice to hear. You
Yeah.
know,
So you have heard that. See, that's what I like. That's that leads to my next question: is do you prefer your Deadpool over the official one?
I think so. The other one, I mean, it's definitely breaks the official one definitely breaks the fourth wall. I wasn't trying to go for that. I was trying to go for like Deadpool guest starring kind of deck. But
Yeah.
well, like my Iceman, and I'm jumping ahead. That came before the official, and it's kind of similar to the official, where because I created, I would prefer my own Iceman over the official.
Okay, cool.
You
Awesome. I love it because I also prefer your Iceman over the official. So
Oh wow, I
I,
didn't know you played.
I haven't played your Deadpool,
That's awesome.
so I can't comment because I despise Deadpool as a character. So I haven't played it. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No,
But
no worries. My
yeah,
son was a big Deadpool fan.
I do like playing, trying the alt, what I call the alt versions of official ones. So create customs that were created before the official ones come out and sort of compare them, sort of see how they go. And there's a couple of times there has been a couple of times where the custom version has been better than the official version, which I think is that to me it sort of epitomizes just how creative we are. It's just, I mean, they've got an entire team of developers working on their stuff, play testing it up the wazoo, like getting this sort of stuff out because they have to. They have to then once it's printed, that's it, right? I mean, they hate Rarada. They've proven that. So it's out there and it's official, and they get criticized and all that sort of stuff. Whereas we have a little bit more freedom and can actually do and take some risks and some challenges, and sometimes it's actually better. Love it. I love your mix of characters here. You've got, I mean, you got Deadpool and Phoenix and stuff, but then you've got Howard the Duck. Awesome.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the idea behind Howard?
What Howard the Duck is on Discord? Someone was like, "Is there any Howard the Duck heroes?" And there really wasn't one. So I'm like, you know what? I like Howard the Duck. I'll make a Howard the Duck hero. And at that point, Player Side Schemes had just come out, and he's sort of a detective. So I leaned into that. So that's how he developed.
Love it.
And yeah, and the Phoenix was before the official one too, which.
Yep.
But it's hard, like you were saying. I think when you have a hero that is an official, I don't think many people who are new are going to say, "Let me play an Iceman or a Phoenix or whatever." If there's an official one, because they feel like like you said, the official one's been tested and tested.
Yeah.
And but
it's tough. I just I don't want the old ones to die, to just be forgotten because now there's an official one, and yeah, people are going to be drawn to the official one first. I get it, but those old ones exist, goddammit, and I'm going to keep them alive as best I can, if I can.
That's awesome.
Another thing about your creations I like is you have a really good eye for art. You and I seem to agree on how art should be. I like my art to be centered and just look magnificent. Just look how awesome this Miss Marvel, this Phoenix. Also you break the wall, which I love. I love that stuff. Yeah, you really. Do you have any like sort of design, sort of training, sort of background?
Well, I'm a television director, so I have a visual eye, for news. So it's like when Carmi was on, he's more into the mechanics. To me, I definitely like how things look visually, and it's an exhausting process to scour, look for the right art, and it just takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
Because I just want everything to be perfect, basically. So
Okay, cool. Love it.
It's definitely time consuming.
So you're let's don't want to go too personal, but you're a TV news director.
Yeah,
That's
I direct the
amazing.
morning show. So yeah,
The morning show. That's amazing.
the morning show. So you got like bands and cooking segments and all that stuff.
Oh,
So you
okay.
gotta have a
Cool.
visual eye.
Right. Is this for like one of the major networks or more local network?
It's
Without
it's a
giving it
major
away.
network.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
That's very cool. All
but
right.
it's local. It's not national in the states. It's in the city I'm in.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. All right. Let's stop there. Let's not go too far. All right. Let's give
No
DC
worries.
some love because I don't want to
Yeah.
upset. Yes, we need to get some DC some love. Now, funnily enough, the majority of the creations that you've made that I've played are your DC ones. So, which is weird. So let's go through that. I love the fact that you've got a James Gordon card, an actual hero set for James Gordon. He deserves more respect. Absolutely brilliant. Why James, and how did you come up with the idea for him?
I was reading the Batman run where he became Batman, and like you said, I felt like doing something different. And how do you get like a regular human in this game? So I thought, yeah, why not do that? And then like he always has like the Bat Family helping, so I had that separate Bat Family deck, and that one was a little bit number crunching as well. Like, how do you get to play the cards as like a side deck, and then he gets like his bat suit upgrade. So yeah, I was happy how that came out, the James Gordon one.
Awesome. I've prepared ahead of time, and I've got a side table here. Unfortunately, the side table is like a mile away from the main table, but I couldn't figure out how to make it any better. I'm no TTS expert, but I just want to just sort of let's spread out James and give him a bit of a look. I really like the whole idea of the Bat family that comes and helps him out, which I think is cool. The Gotham deck, um, Oracle, Acrobat. This is great. This is very very cool. And yeah, sort of like you said, the normal human. How does he get these sort of things done? How does he compete against like literal supermen and stuff like that? And he does. He's a lot of fun. I like him. He's good. Um, I've also played Steel. I really like the idea of Steel. But out of all of them, I think your biggest efforts and success has been with the Thundercats. Why the Thundercats, and how did you come up with with their ideas?
Well, I'm a kid of the '80s, and I love the cartoon. And Dynamite was launching their new Thundercat comic, and it
Awesome.
was pretty cool. And they just kind of lend themselves to a superhero team because they all have different abilities and different synergies.
Yep.
So, and I know you had spoke to Inkwire on, on your the previous thing, and I loved what he did with the universe that he created with He-Man and his turtles. And I'm like, you know what? I want to do that with the Thundercats.
Awesome.
So I started out, and I know he touched base on Tigra, and he has this cloaked mechanic. I'm like, you know what? This would be really cool for Tigra. So I said, can I use it? And he's like, and he wanted to collaborate. And he's a creator also. I mean, we'll get to the other creators that I like, but he was one that I like his work. And when you're creating in a bubble, it's hard to bounce ideas off of. So, I jumped at the idea to work with someone, and we never kind of talked on the phone. It was always just through text, and I think it was a great blending of two different people's ideas to come up with even a better product. And
Cool.
he still kind of like updates. And today I spoke with him for the first time because
Wow.
he said, Tigra's, hero ability should be once per round. So he's still really invested and a great person. And I'm happy that he's still touching base with, trying to make these characters better.
That's awesome. And this is your first collab.
I did a collab that you had spoke with Captain Scorp on the Miss Marvel
Oh yes, that's
previously.
right. Yep. I remember that.
But at that point, he was on Discord and said, "Hey, does anyone want to help out and rework Miss Marvel?" And again, he was another creator that I liked his cards, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll jump in and I'll work with you."
Yep.
And I'm happy with your This is a side note. These interviews you're doing is great because all these older people are that I looked up to when I first got to the server are now back and kind of involved more, which is really cool to see because of you.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. It's yeah, it's awesome for me too. I just when I the people that I've been some of the people I've spoken to were like before my time really, and it's and I made a joke in the Discord when I posted. It's like speaking to one of the Beatles, but it really is. It's I mean they're like legendary figures that I never
Yeah,
really interacted with, right? And so I just the chance to actually talk to them is awesome. But the fact that they actually have now sort of come back and sort of gotten the itch to sort of create again, like Odie's actually created like new stuff since our
yeah,
conversation.
and
It's awesome.
yeah, and I love it. Like I played his Spider Punk, but then on your conversation, he said he updated Spider Punk, and I'm like, what? He did? So like, I haven't even played the updated version, and his Frankencastle, I was a big fan of. So yeah, those creators that you've gotten back, you know,
Yeah,
it's great to hear their voices because and just to know that they're kind of dipping their toe back into the community, which is awesome.
it is. Oh, thank you. Um, so yeah, so the Thundercat. So Tiger, yeah. So you got a bit of Inkwire's great. I love him. He's a lot of fun
Yeah.
and very creative creator. But the other three were done through your own ideas and stuff. Are you planning on sort of expanding a bit more into the sort of 80s cartoon stuff yourself,
Yeah.
or about future collabs with Inquire, or what's happening there?
I think he's. I don't know what his affinity, if it's to the same level. I'm working on something, another hero first, but then I actually have to get around to creating a Mumra villain so they can all fight someone. And that one, we can talk about the process, now or later, but I kind of have just a general idea, and then I pull art and I do all this and that. Then I kind of like try and refine like what the theme is or what the hero is trying to accomplish. So with Mumra, he switches forms. I don't know how much you know about Thundercats.
Yeah, I'm also from the 80s. I think actually think you and I are from the exact same era.
Right.
I get that
So
impression.
with that, with that villain, it's basically he's going to have two forms, and that's kind of just on the mental plate right now. As
Mm.
far as breaking down like the other stuff, like I kind of focus on one hero or one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Just tunnel vision, and then once one thing's done, I'll jump to the next one. So I'm kind of all in on one hero right now,
Right.
and then I'll move on to probably Mumra, and then some of like what Inkwire's done. Just do more Thundercat allies because there's a new comic coming out in the spring. Just kind of extend that, but
Awesome. Hey, so you're working on something. Can we have a spoiler for what you're working on at the moment, or you want to keep it under wraps for now?
no, I have a special bag on the table for you to look at.
Oh
So
yeah, love it. Where is this?
so, uh, it's down. There's no name next to it. It's down next to the aspect card right there.
All right.
There are two cards in there. Before you open it, what
All right.
happened was I had an idea.
Yeah.
I don't see your other table.
Okay. You can't see the
You,
other. Can you see that?
no.
Oh. Oh. Okay. I've failed you. How can I do this? All right. I'll do it up here. I'll do it up here in this little. There's a space up here in the
So
DC mode.
so when Inkwire was talking to me, I had an idea and he loved it. So I had an event card, and he again, he's a great guy. He came up with a different idea. So I haven't number crunched the idea yet, but you can flip the cards over, and that's the hero I'm working on. So
All right. Let's flip. Boom and boom. All right. Here we go. Holy hot potato. Love it.
so yeah, my kids and I were talking the other day, and I'm like, you know what, a Batman Adam West hero, and you can't compete with ES's Batman and other people's Batman. But I'm like, let me just do a different take on Batman with
Yep.
the goofiness of the '60s show. Maybe make
Awesome.
him like Spider Ham, where you have to say certain things. Again, it's still a rough idea. I'm pulling art still,
Love it.
but the Batman movie when he was trying to get rid of the bomb is kind
Yeah.
of an iconic scene.
Yep.
So mine is to the left, the holy hot potato.
Yep.
And then Inkwire came up with the one on the right as an upgrade. And again, he just sent it to me today, so I really haven't dived into it and see, what's more practical and stuff. But that's kind of like my design process. I just pull the art, throw it on cards, and sometimes that'll inspire me in a certain direction or not.
Yep.
So that's the
That's awesome.
game plan.
Cool. The Batman 66 the comic is great. So
Yeah.
just seeing you pull the art from that, it's going to be amazing. That's cool. And the concept is that it
And
actually has to pass from player to player.
the card, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
And so I mean, I just hope it's gonna be fun for people that like they'll have to say stuff like Spider Ham, maybe laugh a bit, and just kind of like
Yeah.
a very light-hearted take on the character. But pulling art is kind of hard for that because
My request, please, if you could, can we have a card that is them going up the wall? You know, where they're going up
yeah,
the wall on the rope.
100%. Yes, that there's a shark repellent card definitely.
Yeah. Of
So
course.
like there's definitely stuff that the bomb, the shark repellent, up the wall, and just bad puns and stuff like that, and just hopefully it'll be a fun set.
Oh, it's got me thinking. So the chakra palette is like something like get rid of a minion or something, right? But if that minion
Right.
just
Yes.
happens to be Sky Shark, you win the game.
Yeah.
You can have that. It's
It has
yours.
an aquatic trait. Yeah.
Or,
That's
or,
it.
or
Game
that
over.
other shark. What's that other shark? What's the shark? There's another shark, like
King
card
shark.
shark.
King shark.
Oh, jeez. Kid shark. Oh, that would be
So,
awesome. Anyway, let's move on.
so,
That's brilliant.
so yeah, I like that. And in terms of future projects, I just like visual heroes. Like there's a Space Ghost comic out now, and I was kind of young for that show, but just visually, he looks like a cool character that I'd like to make that.
He's awesome. Yeah.
You know,
His ghost
so,
invisibility effect and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. That would be so
And
cool.
I know you have a gray Hulk, and kind of when the Angel came out, I always like Mr. Fix It,
Yeah.
but heroes that other people have already, I'm kind of like, I'd like to do that, but someone already has it. So I don't know if I'll ever get around to like a Mr. Fix It,
No,
but
do
that
it,
was
do
kind of
it.
like,
My Mr. Fix It is part of a 3 hero set. So if you want to do like a dedicated, proper Mr. Fix It full set, it would be unique still. Go for it. Do it.
yeah.
I love Mr. Fix It.
But yeah,
I think it's great.
so those are kind of what's on my burner. Mumra, maybe Space Ghost, stuff like that.
That's so cool. Awesome. All right. Let's do a deep dive into sort of on what it is that you do. And we're going to use Black Canary because she's one of my favorites of yours. Uh, Black Canary.
It's
So um, she's great. I love it. I love her to death. I love her
Oh, I see
ability.
the table now.
Oh,
I see your table. I scroll to the right, so I'm good
yeah, I
now.
can see it now. Hey, cool, sweet.
I,
I was like, how is this going to work if you can't even see what I'm talking about? But now you can, so that's fine.
the magic of hitting to the right on the space
Yeah,
bar.
cool.
All right,
All
I'm
right,
good to
now,
go.
now I chose Black Canary because I love her, and two because I know she's gone through some changes. I've watched her journey, and sort of participated in it, which I think is great. So, um, so
It's funny because I had feedback on this, and again, over text stuff sounds a little bit more brutal. I know like other people have had worse criticisms, but someone was like, you know, Black Canary is nobody's favorite or something like that. I'm like, yeah, she's not my favorite, but like that's brutal. I mean, like when ES had Flash and Superman and Batman, like those are people's favorites. Like I'm left with Black Canary.
Black
You know,
Canary is awesome.
listen,
Don't listen.
yeah,
Don't listen to
but,
that. You're right. The whole feedback thing is quite funny. We've touched on it in a couple of our chats and
but again,
stuff. It's just but
over text, it
text.
might have been more brutal.
Yeah,
It's anyway. They
it's
probably didn't mean it that way. But I was just like, all right, what are you gonna do?
it's an important skill to be able to give feedback via text. I think people like Bubblegum
Yes.
do it really well. Um, they have a bit of
But,
he has a bit of his personality in there as well, but also is very clear in what he is that he's saying. I think it really works. It's really good.
but
Some people don't have that skill.
but listen, I'm saying it tongue in cheek because for someone to play something that I've created
Yeah,
is already amazing. So I'm honestly not dumping on it because like they took the time out of their busy lives. No, really, to play it, and that's
yeah.
like you have to appreciate that. So anyway,
It happens. We should acknowledge that it happens, and but we also, like you say, it's just the fact that they've taken the time to actually to
oh,
play it
100%,
and
and
then
in
give
people's
feedback.
busy lives,
Yeah,
yeah, that's amazing.
yeah. You've always been. I mean, I've played like a number of your creations now, like on stream and off stream, on and off stream, and you're always very appreciative. Of whatever feedback I've got and stuff. It's good. Um, it's very good. At one point, I remember one. I was like, "Oh, I hope that wasn't offensive." So I reached out. I was like, "I'm sorry if I offended you." And you're like, "No, it was great. It was awesome." So I was like, "All right, cool, cool. All right." So
No,
Black Canary.
yeah.
Um, let's dive into sort of like your creation sort of aspect from go to woe. So you have an idea. Um, where does it? What it happens to actually then get it to its final journey from start to finish?
Well, what I was saying about the creation for like the Batman, because that's early on, is you kind of have an idea like this character would be cool.
Mm,
Then you try and, as I've gotten more along the creative process, I'm more involved in theme. And then it's a tricky thing like, well, how do you translate theme into a card? So you got to kind of boil it down to its core aspect. And so that it's always percolating in my head. So while it's in my subconscious working, I'll pull art, I'll put it on cards, and then hopefully that'll kind of spark something. And when I design cards, I don't really have one aspect in mind. So I kind of have like, all right, well, cards are going to have a support, some upgrades. Some heroes are going to have more than one upgrade depending on what the hero is.
mm,
Like Panthro, he's a mechanic, he's going to have a bunch of upgrades. Black Canary, not so much. Um, and she's a fighter. So you just kind of try and boil down what the hero is. And then if you can get that hero card ability, that can kind of dictate what the whole set is about. And just like, I love all the creators' work, but so I'll just, like, ES is amazing with his DC stuff. Like he just nails what that specific theme for each character. And Pax just came out with his Gladiator, and he had the confidence thing. So once you have that hook for your main card,
Hmm.
it makes the other cards and the synergy work better.
Yep.
So that's kind of like you have to find that main card hook first.
And do you agree with the Odie sort of philosophy, the
Yeah,
keep it simple, everything sort of ties into that main hook?
yeah. I either he gave me advice early on, or Rainey did, or someone did, or I saw people mentioning it, and
Mm.
I kind of like lean toward that. Where I try not like what like Odie says, I don't really try and create any new keywords or I kind of paint in the box, where there are creators who like they can mentally juggle numbers and stuff and go out of the box. I try and keep the cards looking clean, you know, where people can just pick it up and there's not a lot of like mental hurdles to jump through. Kind of
Yep.
is my because anyway, like the one that like the Robin, in terms of like my favorite,
Mm.
he was hard to figure out how do you level him up, and the Metal Men. I wanted to create a multi-hero character like Design Hacker and Haynes did, and that was a mental hurdle. I'm like, well, how do you get three heroes working at the same time?
Yep.
So, Black Canary is more straightforward than those ones.
Okay. Yeah, I do want to actually come back to uh, the middleman. I definitely want to come back to the middleman for a second. And so with Canary, um, does art sometimes influence what you're going to do? Like, did you want a Canary cycle card and then found the picture of the cycle, or did you find the picture of the cycle and go, oh, she's got a motorcycle, awesome?
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, the art dictates a lot of it. Where I wanted something to get her to get ready, and she doesn't really have like a cape like other heroes that are official. I'm like, all right, well, how am I going to get her ready? She's not. She is a card with a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So yeah, art definitely will dictate sometimes what the card is, if it's a thwart card or an attack card, because you want it to kind of look visually and sort of like match up with, oh, this is an attack card, this is a thwart card, so you kind of want to
Yep.
have it vibe well together.
Now, I've got a question I actually haven't asked any other creator yet, and I'm kicking myself because I was actually working on my own. I'm working on my own campaign, the Hydra campaign, and I
I know,
was.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, awesome! Thank you. And I saw some sort of I had like an epiphany because I was making one of the heroes that comes in that box. The question's about resources on your cards. There's no official sort of reason for why those particular resources are used, right? So, and I know I have my method, but I want to hear from you. So why is Fist on Sonic Blast instead of Energy? Why is Mental on Wildcat Training? Like things like that. How did you choose what resources to use?
I think with some of my other cards, I would mix up the it wouldn't match up. Like I think there were two Sonic Blast, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the one behind it. Right. So with Black Canary, on a lot of the official heroes, they would keep the same resource for the same card, but then some of them mixed it up. So I always was just like, let me mix up the resources in case you needed a resource in your hand. Like, how some cards are like, if you use this card, a mental resource to pay for this. So I didn't want to have the same resource on the same card. And it was kind of my thing. But then
Love
it
it.
kind of confused people. So now going forward, I think like a Sonic Blast or whatever card I'm making, if it's the same card, will always have the same resource. But yeah, in
Really?
terms of like,
So
I
you,
think so
so
because I
you
think
got
like
some
it
you
kind of
got some
confused.
feedback saying that it was confusing.
Yeah, I think so. Like
Wow.
why is this one resource on this card? I just felt like it gives your hand more flexibility. If not,
Yes.
if if they don't have the same resource on the same thing. So I just felt it was like something I can do differently.
I love it.
But I do try and like,
It saddens me that you're going to change that. Don't change it. There's my feedback for you. I think it's awesome, right? The thing that I find is the most obvious thing for Songbird Strike is a fist resource, right? Because it's a physical thing. This is like my sort of philosophy. Anything that's sort of physical gets a physical resource. Anything that's
Yeah.
powers based, non-psionic powers based, or a tech card gets an energy. Anything sort of psionic or it's all about thinking and detective work and all that sort of stuff gets a mental, right? And then wild is for anything that doesn't fit any of those three categories. That's basically how I do it. But then
I,
but
I,
yeah,
agree-
I
I
saw
agree.
stuff like your stuff, and it's yeah. I mean, obviously that should, in my philosophy, be a physical, right? But it's not. It's an energy and a mental, and so that sort of helps your curve. You have your resource curve. That's another thing I think you do really, really well. I mean, Sonic Blast to me would automatically just be an energy, but it's not. But it's a mental and a physical because she's blasting people. Physical makes perfect sense, and she has to think about how she uses the power in order to be most effective. So that's a mental. It's great. Don't change it.
I think I've gone to more of your way of thinking with the Thundercats, where like I'm like, all right, well, if Lionel's doing this, attack, whatever, all right, physical.
Mm,
If Panther's doing this, mental. So I've kind of like fallen into that.
right.
But yeah, I'll have to see what in the future what I end up doing with the resources.
Do
But
it.
there was a little bit there was a little bit of thought. Like Wildcat has the fist,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
there,
Because
there,
that's
there,
what he's all about, right? But yeah, I actually, yeah, I actually really like your approach. It's the same card, but with different resources to sort of help your curve, but also sort of more sort of reflect the my line of thinking, which is what is actually really happening. You know, it's great. Yeah. Um, all right, so let's talk about the middlemen. We've had I've had some discussions with some other designers about sort of multi-hero type stuff, and your version I think is really unique. I really like it a lot. Um, oh, I don't know.
yeah, I didn't know that you played it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I've played it. I've played some stuff off stream. I don't always stream because there's things going on and stuff, and there's a lot of prep and I was maybe I'm not feeling the greatest or something. And it's with streaming you've got to be entertaining. Like you've actually, I mean, you want people to join the chat and involve yourself and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes you just can't be bothered. It's just like I just want to play the game. So, all right, so the Metalman Hero Pack. I'm just going to pull it out, and we're just going to give it a bit of a look. So, I mean, like you said, there's a few creators that have gone the multi-hero route and how they sort of organize it. For me, the ultimate is Cloak and Dagger from Design Hacker. I mean, that to me is how you do it.
Yeah.
But there's
And that
also
was
sorry.
no Cloak and Dagger is kind of my goal. I wanted to. I eventually want to create a combo like that, and he did a great job.
Hmm.
So yeah, like a double hero like that, is kind of like on my to-do list. But
Yeah.
it's a tough balancing act.
It's a tough balance, right? And it doesn't work for everybody. It's in my attempt at a multi-hero, I did it a completely different way. I've had a couple of goes there. But I do. I mean, if I could do something as good as Cloak and Dagger, I'll be a very happy man. But your way here with the 3-hero version, I think is really quite unique, and I want to talk about it. I think it's really really cool. So, I've got questions. First, why the Metalmen? I mean, that's obscure, right? And then how did you come up with the idea of the 3-hero sort of aspect? And thirdly, where did you find this magnificent picture for your hero dial? That is just awesome. That could be a poster. All right, so hit it.
I
There's 3
think
questions. Go.
I think the hero dial might have been some alt comic art for a Metalman cover. So
Right.
that's I think where that came from.
Okay. Cool. That was easy.
The Metalmen, again, it's like looking at what hasn't been made,
Yeah.
and I wanted to do a multi-hero. And on the insert, I do credit Design Hacker and Haynes at the bottom because they Haynes had the Warriors 3,
Yep.
and Design Hacker I think had a 3-person as well, and Odie had his Franken Castle, which
He's awesome.
his body parts had to flip. So
Yep.
those 3 inspired me, and it was tough. And someone had played Metalman like 7 times and kind of fine tuned it, because the trick is if they're all in play, you don't want it to be too powerful with all their abilities.
Yep.
Because they can all activate at the same time. So I mean, it was tough, the math on that, without it being overpowered. And
Yep.
because they don't have a lot of hit points, you have to put an upgrade in play to at least be able to boost it.
Yep.
And then I had to figure out the lose condition, because so yeah, there was a lot of things to figure out with that.
Yeah. The hit point thing. Let's touch on the hit point thing, right? So they don't have a lot of hit points. You're right. 4, 5, 3. That's madness. so when I first pulled them out, I was like, 3 hit points. Like, how's it meant to work? And then of course I grabbed the insert and stuff. And one of the upgrades actually gives them the +1 hit point, which is great. It's good. I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, yes, thank God. I'll take anything I can get. So, how much playtesting did you do for that? Like the balancing, like you said, the numbers game must have been hard.
I did not play test it at all.
Oh, you relied on your fellow creators to do it.
Yeah, you know why? Because like, if I knew how to play test better, I would be play testing other people's creations. Because like, I feel like people need their cards play tested, but it's like, who do you put them up against? How do you balance it? Because you can kind of like, what cards do you add? Because I think you can game break anything, or if you try. So, I think there needs to be something. This is how you play test, and then I'll play test more people's stuff.
Right.
So, a lot of it I just kind of like number balance and what looks right, but sometimes that doesn't work. When I made my Shazam deck with the Shazam hero, I'm like, all right, his Shazam deck is too powerful, and that, I usually print out the cards, and that's how I would play it. But Metal Man, I wasn't sure if it would work, and there was a user on Discord that was like, yeah, I'll play it a lot, and he played it a lot, and he's like, no, it works.
Cool.
And I was able to change.
Awesome.
But
and
yeah, like I said,
sorry, go.
Yeah, some people are really good at play testing. Like, I don't really know the best ways to do that, or else I would play test my stuff more, honestly.
Yeah, we've got some very talented playtesters here. Playtesting is an art. Like, it's a skill.
Right.
I remember Kami playtested one of my creations once with only basic cards. I was like,
oh, wow.
It was like, yeah, I played only basic, and it was ridiculous. And I was, what? Why did you even think about doing that? Like, in fact, are you even allowed to do that? Don't you have to pick an aspect? It was just blew my mind. I was like, I would never even have thought about that.
Here's an example. Like, Pax just redesigned his Beast card because he's like, oh, this one card someone play tested, and they said, oh, he can create an infinite loop.
Wow.
I played his Beast. I'm like, it's fine. I didn't really deck build to try and break the card. Yeah. So, like, one card or one way you build can kind of break. Like you said, play testing is a skill. And
yeah.
I don't have that skill, really.
I don't have it either. Especially not with deck building. Deck building sucks. But yeah, the play testing is important.
Yeah, and even critiquing is hard. Like you were saying earlier, like, how do you critique something and be constructive? And that's hard to do as well.
Yeah, it's a skill. So why gold, platinum, and lead as your 3 heroes, and why Mercury and Tin relegated to ally status?
Just based on their abilities, because lead, he's the protector, so I wanted to give him something like, so he would have the biggest defense.
The defense, perfect. Yeah.
And it just seemed like they would all kind of flow that way better. Platinum, she's the only female. She should be, headlined as the hero.
Mm-hmm.
And, gold is sort of like another kind of leader of the team. And that's kind of the direction I went in.
Yeah.
And Tin, as the main guy, not really. He's tin,
yep.
Like that kind of brittle. So I figured, make him an easy ally.
Yeah.
And same with Mercury. And then how to get Iron in there.
Yeah.
And the reason I did Iron is, he's powerful, and he would just be redundant for the other stuff. And also sometimes art dictates it as well.
Yeah.
But
cool. Another facet that I think you do really well, and a lot of creators do this quite well as well. I think it's a key element of Marvel Champions is the pun titles. I think you do the titles of your cards quite well. I just love this.
Yeah.
It seems obvious when you think about it. It's like the Metal Man, sure. But I love it. It makes me laugh every single time I read it. I don't know why. It's hilarious.
Yeah, the card names, they drive me crazy, and I spend a lot of time on them. I'm like, I don't want to say strike a lot, this and that. So honestly, if any creator like Chat GPT with that stuff is great. I'm like, give me a synonym with this, make it rhyme. Think, and it just cut down on my stress on naming cards by
Awesome.
like 80% because card names would drive me crazy.
They are the worst, especially in scenarios of trying to name a scenario like the actual
Yeah.
stage name. It's like, oh my god, it just sounds so bad. Like I hate every stage name I've ever written.
And you want things as a creator to be perfect. And like, I'll agonize for a while over one card name that people are like, they'll skip it. All right. But like, you just kind of want everything to be, the perfect name.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So we've
and with the
done.
Metalman,
Oh, sorry. Okay.
no, with the Metalman, what I liked also is I found different headshots. So each card has a different headshot,
Yeah, that's
which I
cool.
liked how that.
That's very cool. Yeah. Trying to combine them all would have been very hard. But every one, it's unique. All right, so we dived into sort of the stuff that I wanted to dive into. But what about yourself? What is? I know this is a hard question for some of you, but what is your favorite creation of yours?
My favorite was basically Robin into Nightwing because yes, he has the definitive Nightwing, and I played it, and I'm like, but Nightwing as my Discord picture is, he's one of my favorite characters. I'm like, you know what? I need to create the transition, and um, I stumbled upon these 1966 like Batman trading cards where they had the goofiest thing of Robin always getting in trouble. I'm like, and ES has that Batman deterrence deck. So I'm like, I can create something where Robin's in trouble, it goes into the encounter card, and that would be a cool way for him to be able to level up.
Right.
So I like how that set came together because there's a lot of juggling on what cards, would put the counters on him, how many can level him up,
Yep.
And then also he has event cards that change and get stronger. And how do those event cards go out of play and how do new ones come into play? So again, that was a lot of mental math. And I think it ended up working well.
And was Ironheart already out before you started yours?
It was. So I based it on that and how many counters like she used, but had to change it up a bit.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I have not given this one a go. It's now officially added to my queue.
Uh,
That's another cool thing that I've just from doing these spotlights is I find cool stuff to play for myself, which is great. It's awesome.
and another one of my favorites, I know you did the Mary Marvel, is I was a big fan of Shazam, and I was happy that he wasn't made yet because I was always a Shazam fan. So he'd probably be my second favorite, and my kids like Shazam, so that kind of holds a fondness as well.
Awesome. Do they like him because of the movie?
No, they had read comics of Shazam, before the movie came out.
That's cool. Awesome.
So I was happy that I was able to that he wasn't created yet, so I was able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're another fan of the custom genius strength and energy resources. I love that. That's appreciated. Cool. Oh, there's Mary. Yay!
Yeah.
My beloved Mary.
Yeah, and you and Mary Marvel, we had touch base, inspired me with one of my other cards on the
No, really?
Lion-O.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, Lion-O had I think you played the Lion-O, I
Yes,
believe.
I did. I did in fact play Lionel.
Yeah, in your play testing, I ended up changing a couple things based on watching your stream.
Oh, awesome. That is cool.
But yeah, when you had Mary, I remember your whole design process of Mary Marvel and
And the upgrades.
and the upgrades and everything. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I should do that with the Thundercats
Yeah.
as his allies. So
That's very cool.
that inspired me with that.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, I like your Shazam. Actually, I checked it when I was making. Before I make, like I have an idea of something. Before I make it, I go and check anything that might be relevant to the thing that I'm making, just in case I've like subconsciously ripped somebody off. And that's because that actually happened once. Like I made a card that was almost word for word somebody else's card. And I was like, how is this possible? I've never read this card before. How has this happened? And it's just one of those things, right? It's unbelievable. So now I like
And
I get paranoid.
it happens. When I made my Morbius and Iceman, Army had made his Morbius and Iceman like right after. So he messaged me like, "Hey, I'm not trying to copy." I'm like, "No, I'm like, it happens. Don't worry
It
about it."
just happens, yeah. It's. I mean, what can
Yeah.
you do, right? I mean, the ideas it's like a saying. It's like there's no original ideas. They're all just sort of rehashes and changing around of like old ideas and stuff. Yeah, so I mean,
Right.
it's I mean, obviously, there's only so many mechanics you can do in a card game, right? So they're all going to show up again at some point. The thing for me is just to make sure that your voice is included in that creation, so that it is yours and that's it's done in like a respectful way and stuff. Unless of course you can't
Right.
like I've done before. I don't know if you've done this, but I've actually contacted the creator and said, look, I'm making this. Um, it's basically just a rip off of your thing, but with a different era. Is that cool? And they're like, yeah, go for it, sort of stuff. You ever had that experience?
Well, when I was making the Metal Man, I touched base with Design Hacker and Haynes. I'm like, "Hey, I want to make a 3 hero thing, and you had a good starting point. Can I borrow your concept?" And they were great. They're like, "Yeah, go for it." And
Awesome.
the creator in the community is amazing. And with my Robin, Super Mario, who's doing his Star Wars, loved the idea, and he made like a reskin basically of Anakin becoming like from like a Padawan all the way to
Yes.
evil Anakin. So he used the Robin template and that was really cool that he liked my idea and he just ran with it and that's what the community's about is sharing like ideas and stuff and making cards better for people. So
Yep.
it's great.
That's cool. That was actually going to be one of my questions. Have you had any of your things inspire other people? And I was going to use Anakin as an example because it's basically the thing that is awesome. That is really really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Super Mario did that, and when I first started, the creators were super helpful. So when people direct message me with stuff, I'm more than happy to help out as well, give back.
You sort of touched on it already, but are there any other is there anything you specifically you want to highlight of creators or creations that have inspired you in your work?
Well, when I first started, like I said, I didn't have a TTS, I didn't have a Google Drive, and ES was amazing. Like he would scan my cards wherever he did. He made bags for them so people could play my heroes.
Cool.
Hacks helped a lot. I've Rainy would help, and as you mentioned with other creators, Beryl. Anytime I had a question, they were super helpful, and they still are. I mean, they're just amazing.
Hmm.
Um, so
Very
yeah,
cool.
and yeah, I just try to when I try to make cards, I try and like look at the what other people have made, and I try and live up to those standards, basically.
Yep. Awesome. It surprises me that you say you don't playtest because you've made like a heap of aspect cards and they need to be playtested. You need to playtest these things just in case. Let's say,
You know
did you playtest any of these?
which one? The aspects?
Yeah, the aspect ones.
Um, well, I'm going down to the.
Yep, they're down here. I'm getting them out. There's a heap. I can't get them all out. It's too many.
Well, some of them are from the weekly prompts the aspect cards are mostly for the weekly prompts, basically.
Cool.
And then the allies, are just ones that I had made that hadn't been made before back then.
Yep. Let's touch
But
on let's touch on
like
the weekly prompt. I think I don't think that's been mentioned once the entire time I've been doing this series. So the weekly prompt is a community thing. This is what I mean about how cool the community is. Right? It's not just people making their stuff and getting feedback, and which is awesome. But there's more to it, and to keep this sort of community alive and sort of getting sort of people's creative juices flowing, we have the thing called the weekly prompt. Yeah, and it's a top like a subject, like somebody picks a subject, and then people make cards based on that subject. So, for example, we just did the Valentine's Day stuff, right? So you're part of that process. Are you part of the group that organizes, like picks the subjects and stuff?
no, I should be more involved.
Okay, I thought you,
Life
I thought
gets
you
in the
was.
way. No, they do an amazing job.
Yeah,
And just as a sidebar, the way the community has grown and is trying to get more creator involvement and stuff, that Carmi does is amazing. So yeah, I don't remember how. I mean, I was there before the weekly prompt started,
Yeah.
and it still continues, and people contribute, and it's a fun one-off, like that week that gets people involved and invested, and it's a fun little project that
Mm.
scratches probably people's creative itches.
Yeah, there are some people that really get into it. Some creators just absolutely adore it, and they've always making stuff for those weekly prompts and stuff. And it's just
I
it's
probably did
another
like
highlight of how creative these people can be. It's just because they're new ideas every week. It's amazing.
yeah, I probably did like the first 20 in a row, but then like you get busy, and yeah, I've kind of slacked off on the weekly prompts lately.
Yeah, cool. Your vault is very similar to the new raft that's coming out. Is that like excite you? Or are
I
you just like, hey, that's cool?
Well, I think like other people said, had said previously, like I guess it's kind of like, yeah, it's vindicating, or what, I don't know the word. Yeah, it's cool that something an idea that you had is represented in the game down the line.
Yeah,
Basically, it's a cool it's cool, that happened.
awesome. Cool. Well, is there anything that we haven't touched on that you would like to bring up?
Um, nah, I just gotta be able to play test more, and like I said, I appreciate the community, and I gotta make a better effort to go online and play TTS. But you know what it is? It's like almost like choice paralysis. There's so much great content out there.
Yeah.
It's like, and you gotta like figure out which creator, because Matt just redid his Kazar, that which I want to try again, and then like it takes time to deck build. So I just got to get better at doing that stuff, and just I think for the community, if you're playing someone's content, or just give them just let them know.
Yeah.
And like I check everything that people make anyway. There are
Really?
people that make oh yeah, I always look at people made like Harry Potter stuff, and people have made Transformers. I'm always checking what other people have made, and it's cool to see.
It is cool, and
And
the new format of the Discord makes it easier too. I think with the new creations, like you pop it into the hero channel there, and then yeah, I get an alert that it's there, and then bang, it's easier to see new stuff. Um, Love it. So you check out every single new creation. That is awesome.
yeah,
That's
because I
freaking
feel like people are taking the time and effort to make it. You got to look at it and see what they've done, and try and show them love. And it's a supportive community. Yeah, I always try and see what other people are doing.
that's great. That's
Ex-
awesome. Yeah.
Except if it's something like I have, yeah. So trying,
I love your thing about
but yeah,
I love your thing about just letting them know. It's like, hey, I checked out your thing. That's cool. That's really
yeah,
good.
because like everything is in a void or a bubble, and unless like people reach out, you don't really know that. Like I didn't realize that you had even played some of the content actually,
Wow.
and it's cool to hear that you've played this character and that character, and
I feel bad now. I
no,
should have
it's
reached out. I should have reached out to you every time I played something like off stream and stuff. Because obviously you see the stream version because you see the YouTube channel videos, right?
yeah.
But um, I should have reached out when I played stuff off stream. Oh, I feel bad. I'll do it from now on. I
No, no,
promise. No, you've inspired me. Every time I play something off stream now, I'll let the creator know.
yeah. I just think like if it's not you, if other people are listening, if you just play someone or just look at someone's card, just kind of show them love, just like that they know that they've created something that people can kind of that they've seen it,
Yeah,
that they've
you're so right.
they're not creating in a void.
Yeah, you're so right. It's words of wisdom. I will follow you.
I'm trying,
I love it.
but no, just going forward. I love your streams and everything, and one day I'd love to be able to play with you, on TTS or whatever.
That'd be awesome. That's cool. I'm free the rest of the
Yeah,
afternoon. If we want to play. Yeah, that would be cool. I want to do some more sort of like team up sort of stuff with with the creators, and like sort of showcase as much as I can, because I don't have time to do it all myself. So if I get like a team game, like it's some people playing and stuff, I think that'd be cool. It, it's fun, and we get to show off the creations and stuff. I think it's great. Yeah, let's do it. Let's book it in. Now that you've said it, you're beholden. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna hold you to it. Awesome. Well, thanks for being so cool as to show your upcoming stuff. I think that's cool. I'm very much looking forward to Batman 66. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't crank out stuff as quickly as you or other people as Carmi does. So like, yeah, it's who knows, but I'm tunnel focused on it, and then after that, I'll move on to the next thing. It's like you have like a 24-hour itch in the back of your head when you're working on a card
Yeah.
until everything's all done. Then it's like you want to take a breather, but then it's like, all right, but I have this idea, and you jump onto the next one. It's like a nonstop cycle,
And when does
it seems.
inspirations usually come to you? Are you like a shower thought person, or are you like, say, just during the day? It's like, what's the deal? When does the light bulb go off?
It doesn't. It's always like a constant itch in the back of my brain, and all the time. So like I have constant ideas of Batman 60. I mean, I should really write them down because it's
Yes,
just like
write them down.
if I did that, it would stop like being in my brain.
Yeah.
But that yeah, it doesn't stop. And then when I'm done, I'm like, you want to take a breather and you're on to the next one because then you have another idea. Oh, this would be cool. So I don't know if that's how you are, if other creators are, or if they can like decompress or
I
I
have
don't know.
a terrible, terrible memory, so I have a pen and paper, like a pad of paper, with me at all times. So just in case, because even just last night I had an idea popped in my head for an Alice in Wonderland scenario, and I was
Oh
like,
wow.
if I don't get this jotted down, it's going to be gone forever. And so like like it's like 2 a.m. and I'm using my phone as a light so my wife doesn't wake up, and I'm jotting down the ideas that popped in my head and stuff. That's I'm pretty bad.
I- Yeah, I like that you go out of like the design typical process too. Like you have a Nightmare on Elm Street thing, I believe,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Yeah, you have different type of it's cool to like branch out into different universes and stuff. I mean,
cool.
the game is kind of really customizable anyway.
Yeah, that's
That's
that's the thing, right? I mean, just look at the amazing content. I mean, this our community has made content for video games.
yeah,
It's just it was made for us. There like other types of comics for
amazing.
movies, for you name it. It's out there. It's not just Marvel, DC type stuff. It's just the massive range. Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh,
It's just amazing.
right. Speaking of that, yeah, I was kicking on an idea like making a Scooby Doo hero because like he has like a whole posse. So like I'm like, oh, you know what? He'd be cool, or like Bugs Bunny. So I just have random thoughts. I'm like,
That's so cool.
this could work. But like, again, no, you're almost kind of creating for yourself because like no one's really gonna be playing Bugs Bunny in Marvel Champions. They
I would play
might, but
Bugs Bunny. That'd be
yeah. So
awesome.
like I just have really,
Yep.
you know, because like that whole universe just opens up. Like just can you just think of like all like the nemesis that he would be,
Yeah.
facing off again. So like that's where my mind goes.
Would the nemesis be
You know,
Daffy or Elmer?
oh, I would think like Tasmanian Devil. You could do P Puma. You can just kind of Daffy Duck would be a really cool nemesis too.
And Scooby's signature ally, is that Shaggy or is it Scrappy?
Oh, no, Scrappy would be the villain. Remember, like the movies, you'd have to.
Oh, you'd be gone
They
more
made
so the movie universe.
no, the movie made no Scrappy like in the cartoons was like yeah he was an ally, but I'm saying that if you were trying to really flip it, you'd make Scrappy the villain. It's kind of like a nod to the movies.
See, this is what which you've witnessed history, folks. If you're watching this, we've just come up like Super TNT has just come up with ideas on the fly. That's how talented he is. Love it.
But that's why I would love to work with other creators because you bounce ideas and it's such a rewarding process. Anyway,
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'll leave it at
More collabs. I'm calling it. I'm calling it
that. I
out.
think so.
That'd be cool,
Yeah, I think this year I'd like to collab with someone else as well. Definitely.
dude. If you make a range of Looney Tunes stuff, I will collab with you in a heartbeat. You can imagine like the Acme stuff coming out as like items and stuff, dude.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like Wile E. Coyote
Oh
dropping like Acme
yeah,
stuff on people.
a Wile E. Coyote scenario. Let's do it.
Yep.
Oh, dude, this is it's opened up a whole new world. The chance to collab you would be awesome. I thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. Like I said at the start, I think I managed to not fanboy too much, but I just really respect you as a creator and how you help out the community and stuff, and how friendly you've been with me. And I really respect your design philosophy, and it's just how you how you encourage other people to be their best while also working on your own stuff and stuff. So chatting to you was a must, and I'm glad I finally got the chance to do it.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries. Awesome. All right. So if you're watching this on, I've got to stop saying that. You are watching this on YouTube, obviously. Otherwise, how else are you doing it? So in the description, there'll be links to Super TNT's T Drive, G Drive, and TTS. And there will also be a link to the community. Check it out if you have. If it doesn't have to be that you want to make your own stuff, maybe you want to just see the amazing amount of work that's out there and enhance and expand your game. Whatever reason you want to do it, take advantage. Click the link, join the community, and just check out everything that's there. And if you want to lurk for a bit, that's cool. But say hi, that'd be cool. Whatever you want to do. Also, do all the usual sort of YouTube sort of stuff, like, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff. Comments is actually probably the most important. If you leave a comment, say hi to Super TNT, introduce yourself, and maybe if you want to have a collab, maybe you're already a creator and you want to have a collab, reach out. Let's do it. Again, Super TNT, thank you very much for joining me. Really appreciate it, taking the time. And that's it. As usual, as always, please tell the people that you love them as often as possible, and that includes yourself. Make sure that you love yourself as well, because you're special and you're amazing and you deserve it. So thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.